Welcome back to the ASUG News Studio. I'm Courtney Bjorlin, and we're going to shift a little from our morning coverage of HANA and onto something a little more bread and butter, but still as exciting, testing. We're thrilled to be joined by a member of SAP staff and a member of Heineken staff to talk about their testing journey and the partnership that got them through this incredible testing center of excellence. I'm thrilled to be joined by Benny Huwaë.
Yes.
Benny Huwaë.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. And Ben Owen, thank you so much for joining us. Ben's from SAP and Benny is from Heineken. So I understand that at Heineken you have a must-run SAP rule. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, no. Well, it's something very beneficial. You see, you have to understand that Heineken uses SAP to run a lot of their core businesses. So the general policy is very simple. If it can be done in SAP, it should be done in SAP.
Very good.
Yeah.
And everybody really respects this policy at Heineken.
Yeah.
If it can be done, it should be done. And over 80% of the company runs SAP software.
Yeah.
Okay. And Heineken is the official beer of SAP Netherlands.
Thank goodness it is.
Yes, the most important fact from our interview today. So let's start out by talking about what are the benefits of global testing? How did you build a business case for this at Heineken?
Now we're starting, if you look at the values of Heineken, passion for quality is very important. So we're selling beer to our customers and we want to have the premium best beer. It's similar to our SAP landscape and our solutions delivered to our operating companies. So that is one of the things why global testing is so important. And what we're seeing, the ambitions within Heineken is to have certain processes on global level, like global purchasing, financial services, for example, purchase to pay. We want to deliver that to our operating companies, but also a record to report and order to cash. So what you're seeing is somehow we have the ambitions to have rolling out our common system landscape. On the other hand, we have to keep the system stable, because we're running our breweries and they have to run 24/7 brewing beer for our customers.
Right.
So that is the challenge where global testing plays an important role in it.
And what was SAP's role here, Ben?
Well, so to be honest, we've been involved with Heineken since 1998. Heineken actually has pretty much every SAP solution. From a testing perspective, we've been involved from giving advice, strategic leadership, as well as in some cases consulting activities. But really just to help guide and ensure that our customer is successful in the end.
Now you have an enormous global testing footprint. Can you give our audience a sense of what that looks like?
Oh yeah, that's we're starting with when you start a journey, you have to know where you are. So we have set up a global test footprint, but also global test services. It contains of 12 testing building blocks, principles, planning, tooling, frameworks, and building it up, we defined where are we now with Heineken and where we want to go. Our approach is step by step. So what we're now seeing is we have a quite good principle. So one documentation for everybody involved in our common system explaining what is testing.
Right.
The other step is for our solutions, we have a master test plan. For those who are into the testing, they know exactly what to test, what not to test, how to test, and who are involved. That is another topic. And together with SAP and HP, we're thinking also about tooling. And one of the tooling is HP Quality Center for our single point of truth, having the information available. And the other thing is for automation, we have SAP Tao and other tools like Solution Manager as well embedded.
Yeah, the testing footprint and the different tools used, I understand, Ben, were one of the questions that customers in your session had the most questions on yesterday. Can you elaborate a little bit on what they were asking?
Most definitely. So what we call it is the integrated business process tool chain. The concept is very simple, and it's starting with the business processes that are key to the business, then feeding those into Solution Manager as blueprint requirements, feeding that information from a technical perspective being integrated in Solution Manager, and then coming into the testing world into Quality Center as a requirement. The whole point is that later on when changes come to the system, they can much better manage those changes from start to finish, and also later on with better automation, things like that, it'll be able to very quickly respond to the business needs. That's really our goal as SAP and as well as for Heineken, is to ensure that this is a nice and closed process that works effective from start to finish, from requirement all the way to post-production.
So what were some of the business benefits here?
Yeah, what else? The business benefits, yeah, what you're seeing is the business benefit of having a global thing is, or having a global testing is common understanding what is the status of your product. We often talk about, when you're going to this conference, also about technology, but we always forgot we're doing it for the business, for our business. And what we're doing there is having transparent documentation, communicating what is the quality of our product. That is key for the moment. The next steps are what are the supporting systems to get these common solutions more visible.
And what were some of the key learning? I'm sorry, I'm having a coughing attack here.
I know this is a very sad subject.
Testing is so emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were some of the key learnings from your project then?
Well, I think very simple that number one, it's very important to consolidate your license base. It's as Heineken grew up as an organization, they purchased many other breweries and many other companies. So it also meant that there were licenses basically spread across the world. One of the things we've done in the last 2 years with Benny and I was, first of all, consolidate that to ensure that it was the most effective, as cheap as possible from a maintenance perspective, and of course, being able to leverage it to the best value without having to make additional expenditures. Yep. I think besides that, though, it's really about having the right people involved in order to set things up. And having that expertise there from day one is really what made it successful in the end. And when I look at it, there's different companies that have been involved throughout the process, companies like Accenture, companies like Hexaware, companies like Eovio, et cetera. And I think that what's important is that all of these together have really helped build the basis so that in the future Heineken can carry this forward on their own, or of course working with their partners.
And this is a journey, you know, as Ben has encapsulated so well here. Talk to us a little bit about the next steps.
Yeah, if you look at the next step, we have set up the fundamentals now, manual testing. We try to centralize some things like regression testing. We have set up the first toolings. And the next step is looking forward to consolidate, but also continuously improve these steps. That is the first step. The next step also is to have on global level more things, exploring in automation. So we're doing some pilots, and also on performance testing we do some pilots on these things. So these are the next steps. And for myself, what we're doing also, we have a global footprint within Heineken, and we're starting up to build our own test community, so that together with the old test community we can sit together and share information, knowledge together with our partners like SAP, HP, and Accenture, and other companies.
And to close out here, I'd like to hear both of your perspectives on this, because in light of some of the things we've been hearing at the show on HANA and mobility and some of the more exciting topics, testing can be something that might be a little bit difficult to get a buy-in for. Can you talk to me just, you know, about 3 really clear business benefits that you've seen from this particular project?
Well, I mean, definitely the first one is reducing production defects that can impact the business. That's for sure. That's core to the business, and obviously you don't want to let those through into production, which of course will cause you problems.
Yeah. The other thing is having good reporting. And transparent reporting is key because we have to talk the same language. So if you're saying the quality of the product is good, we're delivering it to our operating companies, it's the same message for management, testing team, projects, everybody involved in a common solution. So that is a really benefit.
And to be honest, I think the other one is by finding the problems earlier, you naturally are going to save a lot of cost involved with those problems, because by being able to catch the defect in an early stage, and in the test environment or the development environment even, by being able to catch it early, it's going to be a lot cheaper in the long run, and of course make the projects much more effective. So the total cost of implementation goes down, and of course the quality goes up.
Yeah. So, and the last one, the third. What I find important is the integration of tooling. Everybody's talking about you have to implement a tool, but it's not about the tooling, it's just supporting our common systems. So therefore, if you implement tools, it's important, the benefits is not only the tooling, the partnerships, the cost of licenses, so we have a lot of savings on these because we're doing it on global level. On the other side, we have depending also on experts. So it's a combination of.
Great. Great. Well, thank you so much. A very passionate and emotional interview on testing with Benny Huwaë and Ben Owen. Thank you so much for joining us here in the studio today. Have a great rest of the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for more of our coverage of ASUG Annual Conference in Sapphire Now.